The Game Awards.
The Oscars, you know? The Oscars!
I could talk about how people take Game of the Year shows far too seriously, but I'd rather not. There's so many outlets that do so many awards for games at the end of the year. Geoff Keighley's Game Awards are just notable because they feature new game announcements. The awards presented there are just as valuable as IGN's, Polygon's, or Joe Gamer Guy 23's. You can't blame everyone for wanting to give out pointless awards. It's super fun to designate a time of the year to look back and share your belief that the 5 games you played are better than the 200 other important games of that year. That's why they let people vote, and people ignore the fact that their vote actually doesn't matter. And that's why I'm gonna do it too! It's just for fun. You can't stop me. I think it's hard to draw the line of what is a valid nominee because of remakes, remasters, and ports. Mass Effect Legendary Edition and Nier Replicant version something both came out in 2021, and they're some of the best games of the year. But they also came out last decade, so do they not count? I was gonna take it a step further and say that I'm gonna consider any game I played this year, but after listing them, I realized that would actually be impossible. So I'm just gonna decide as I go, simplifying it to games this year that sorta stood out to me. The Last of Us Part 2. Wait, don't close the video already. I promise this is a good pick. That only is sort of a joke. I played The Last of Us Part 2 this year, and it stood out to me as an impressive subversion of expectations for a AAA directed narrative. If we get down to it, the best game narrative released in 2021 was within Nier Replicant, but I can't give it every award, so I'm sticking to this. Oh god, I really should have excluded re-releases, or this entire video is just gonna sound like a broken record. Wait, the Game Awards actually nominated Nier Replicant for this one? Okay. Yeah, it's Nier Replicant. The world has known it was one of the best video game scores for years now. It's the only valid pick here. This award will be given to the game with the best standout artistic direction. 2021 was the first full year with new-gen consoles, and wow, games just look so good nowadays. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart looks like a modern Pixar film, as does Kena Bridge of Spirits. Skyward Sword was finally given the chance to shine on HD screens. Scarlet Nexus felt like they perfected the 3D hyper-anime style. Death Stranding Director's Cut made its jaw-dropping rendition of Iceland America look better than ever. Tales of Arise showed what the next 10 years of JRPG worlds can strive to be. I think it's obvious that the winner has to go to none other than The Last of Us Part 2. Okay, I genuinely think Rift Apart has to take this one. It's a visual marvel from start to finish. The graphical fidelity in the textures and animations is currently the best the industry has seen, and the artistic direction is gorgeous. It could single-handedly reinvigorate a franchise. So yeah, the game with Rivet takes it. God of War Ragnarok, the sequel to Breath of the Wild, Horizon Forbidden West, and yes, obviously, marry, kill respectively. Elden Ring, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Starfield, Mario Rabbids Spark of Hope, Stray, Metroid Prime 4, Forspoken, Splatoon 3, Dragon Quest III HD 2D, Sea of Stars, Triangle Strategy, Final Fantasy 16. I think next year's gonna kill me. Why did I even make this an award? I can't choose a favorite fetus. It's Zelda. This is my Nier Automata award because I play it every year. I'd like to think of it more as an optimistic outlook award. Someday I might finish a game without saying, that wasn't as good as Nier. I think the aggregate picks here for the Game Awards are pretty great. There's a range here that we don't usually see in big award shows, and I think it just comes down to 2021's lack of a true widespread standout game of the year. Usually there are 1 or 2 major AAA games that are obviously going to take it, but I could see this going to almost any one. 4 of these games are puzzle platformers with puzzle elements. That's insane. Almost as insane as Tales of Arise not being nominated just because it's a JRPG. Tales scored as high, if not higher, across the board. It was lauded by so many outlets as a hugely defining game in its genre, even being one of the best of all time. I know that some of the journalists that praised this game got a say in the nominees. It's almost impressive how strong the bias is shown here against certain genres like racing, fighting, and role-playing. I think what it comes down to is every one of these games is under 10 to 15 hours long, which means more journalists on the international panels that Twitter DM'd Geoff their votes actually saw their endings. I've played most of the games on this list, and even the ones I haven't gotten to yet, I can pretty accurately judge if they deserve Game of the Year. Deathloop is not Game of the Year. Most players' impressions I've heard of Deathloop soured dramatically towards the end. Metroid Dread is not Game of the Year. It's incredible, but it's still Metroid. Psychonauts 2. Ratchet & Clank is not Game of the Year. Its standout feature is its presentation, but the core game within Rift Apart is not something that will leave much of an impact beyond its entry-bound association with the early days of PlayStation 5. It Takes Two might be Game of the Year, actually. Resident Evil Village is a game where I heard most players say it wasn't quite as good as its predecessor, which screams not Game of the Year to me. The best game that released in 2021, that I played in 2021, was obviously Nier Replicant. But I'd be disgusted on your behalf if I said game of 2021 was a game of 2010. Tales of Arise simultaneously capped off the last generation and established itself as the beginning of the next generation, taking the entirety of its genre's best idea into a landmark accomplishment of a game that will only grow in recognition after history forgets it. It is a masterpiece, with rich writing, bold visuals, tight action, and a heart that fulfills its role in the ongoing evolution of games. I believe that the game of the year should be a game that simultaneously looks backwards to the greats that came before it, stands tall among what is established today, while still managing to showcase what opportunities the future holds. Which is why I am proud to give the first Constant Game of the Year award to Tales of Arise. Bandai Namco, if you want your trophy, my business email is on my channel page.
Hey guys, it's me, Geoff Keighley, and I think that you should subscribe and hit that like button.